Okay, let's try that again. First time failed, hopefully this one doesn't. So, where was I? Basically, ADC. Seen a lot of people talking about having issues with, well, everything in this game. It's not simple, it's not complex. It is complex. Long story short, people want help, and everyone likes videos, and I figure I could make a semi-decent explanation on how to play each role. I could do one of these every day for, you know, Monday to Friday kind of thing. I've got nothing else to do right now, and frankly, all I've ever done well in this life is play video games and talk about them. So, let's jump right into it. Recently hit Platinum, so figured that'll give me a little bit of credibility. Clearly have at least some idea on what I'm doing. No idea how much of one yet. I think I've got a strong handle on everything, but not really going to know until I plateau in ELO. So let's go into this game. This is played this as Varus. It was a placement match. We did win, and I can show a few things with this game. Ideally. I'll be able to show positioning well. Like there was a Riven and a LeBlanc, and they were both playing very aggressive and trying to get on my nuts, and I was able to stay away from them. And that's something you really have to pay attention to. Like these are two really problematic champions. I'll bring up the overlay to deal with as an ADC. So it's a good video there. Taking too long to encode, skipping frames. It's my OBS is telling me. We'll see how the video looks after I look at it. So, that was one good thing to demonstrate in this game was how to deal with a LeBlanc and a Riven as an ADC, because those are things you need to definitely know once the mid to late game hits. Another good thing that we had in this lane was a bit of synergy between me and Morgana. She was aggressive, which is really good. Yeah, I know. No, I'm good. I know what I'm doing, Diamond. Fuck you, bro. So. Now, you're making this hard now that I know someone's watching. So, essentially, I stuck largely to Varus as ADC. He's unforgiving when you make mistakes, so you'll learn fast in that respect, just because you don't have the gap closer. Also, he's got a strong poke, which you can abuse at lower elos at the very least when people don't know how to dodge. If you level your Q first, which I prefer to do. I don't know what the standard for Varus is, but it certainly works for me. Also, his ultimate is really useful in a whole bunch of spots. I mean, that's essentially what I look for in any laner is utility. The ability to win the lane in a couple different spots, whether you're ahead or behind.
30 seconds until
and then utility throughout the entirety of the game. Like Riven and Lee Sin, for example, I don't think are strong champions to practice on for that reason. I mean, you're only going to do well early, and they fall off late. It's easy to make mistakes with them and get and yeah. So fuck Diamond. I wish you weren't watching me right now. I feel like everything's being judged, but nah. This is kind of why I'm making the video, right?
Minions have spawned.
So, I don't know how much interesting happens. I'm almost tempted to fast forward to a point that I know where I can show something interesting. There was a lot of shenanigans that happened early on. One good thing that was nice to see, or that this video will demonstrate, Lulu and Vayne were quick to engage and very unforgiving with mistakes. There's a good spot later where I'll be able to show that. Also, TF was a boss in this game. There's no small reason to why we won. We fucked up here. We should have gone back to help the jungler a little bit. There were shenanigans going on. What to talk about while things are happening? I guess we'll go to farming. So, what you want to try to do in lane with ADC is never, especially against the Vayne, you always want to pressure her. Don't give her free last hits if you can help it. You basically want to be looking to close the gap, pressure, and auto-attack whenever there isn't farm to be had. And I'll hopefully demonstrate that throughout the game, but this is a replay and I'm not controlling myself, so we'll see what happens. The lane did go well. Really, I'm trying to land an E on both of them and maybe grab some farm at every opportunity I have. I do like how Morgana's basically trying to land a bind with every chance you can. I mean, and if you don't see an opportunity, try to make one and just do it safely. I mean, Lulu's got basically the one. Well, she's got the two-stage harass with the pixies and her shield slash whatever. Lulu's got too many. I'm not gonna try to explain them all at the moment. But Lulu's basically got a range of as long as she doesn't have her pixie on a minion, it's right here, right around here. So as long as you stay, I want to stay away from Lulu while trying to get in your vein, kind of, and not miss any last hits through the entirety. And this lane is going to be a lot of pressuring under the tower and avoiding ganks. That's all we really did. I'm going to be dropping a Q on Vayne every opportunity that I can find. If you want to abuse your abilities and really push every opportunity you can make. Also, the more pressure you're applying to them, the more last hits they're going to miss. Vayne's going to end up having to go back soon. We didn't get the kill. I don't think. Recall isn't great at this one. But that's ADC. It's farming, pressuring, and not getting ganked. I should stop making blanket statements like that, because it isn't that simple. So I'm gonna, in a minute or so. Well, it's gonna happen soon. Engagement where the lane doesn't look very threatening, and Lulu and Vayne aren't trying to look very threatening, but they are looking for a point to engage. And you can't. I mean, essentially, if I had stuck around trying to grab a farm, I definitely would have died. And just being skittish was more than safe. With Varus, I level with level E first, W second, and then Q as often as I can while leveling W afterwards. You want to max Q as fast as you can. Once you hit level 5, you can drop some 500 damage arrows on people that... I mean, you hit a mid or an ADC with those in a team fight, and all of a sudden you're in a position where they can't really engage. Morgana got a little over-aggressive there. So right now we're both low on health, and this is not a point we want to be getting into a fight in. Essentially, Vayne and Lulu have control of the lane. You don't always want to let them know that they have control of the lane. Sometimes they won't know, and you can still kind of. I mean, if you've intimidated them to a certain point, but I've noticed that a lot more in gold and silver. Like right here that's basically the point that I was talking about. I sort of talked through it. I'll back up a bit and we'll show it again. So what was happening was we lost control of the lane because, well, because of potions, they went back, they purchased items, Vayne had a damage advantage. So this isn't a spot where I want to get into a fight. I still want to poke her, but I don't want to get into a position where Lulu can slow me and Vayne can jump on me. So in this spot especially, you want to, anytime Vayne is angling towards you, you want to keep not a wall at your back at every. So positioning is really important here. Now, right here, I should just go back, but I still want some farm. I think I was at 1,300 gold. Actually, I don't know where to see the gold in these replays. I think I was at 1,300. And they were basically trying to bait me into that engage. I mean, they were even waiting for me to go for that last caster minion there. And if I had, I definitely was dead. I mean, I even hit Burn Flash to get out. One more auto attack from Vayne. I think she had the 2 silver bolt stacks up. Basically, if I don't have enough money for BF Sword, I buy 2 more Doran's Blades. Also, mana pots. If your champion has any mana issues whatsoever, don't be afraid to buy them. Like, especially if you're utilizing your abilities effectively. If you're dropping Qs and you're not landing anything and they're dodging them all, then don't bother, just to farm. But if it's getting somewhere, then abuse it. I've always been of the opinion if something's working, then abuse it even further. You know, like if you're ganking a lane, and they're constantly overextending. Like, you gank them, they go right back to doing the exact same shit, you know, like, say, for example, it's this LeBlanc, or it's not a LeBlanc, say this LeBlanc is a TF, and she's right here, or he's right here all the time. That's a really easy gank. LeBlanc, not so much. LeBlanc will just run away. But, anyways, I'm going to start talking about how to jump. So those are kind of the cores for laning, is focus on, you always want to get farm as opposed to landing harassments. Morgana is completely and totally screwed here. We didn't position properly. We didn't see the gank coming in time. That's kind of her job, but as long as I don't die as ADC, that's all I'm doing. I really wish I had my ultimate here. Just I think Vayne gets away here. There was a point here, I'm going to back that up for a second, where... Did I back it up? Did I go forward? Move forward. This is a highly professional video. I'm charging my Q. I had stacks on it. I thought the kill on Elise was an option, but as I came out of the fog of war, I saw Vayne with no health. Didn't hear at what point the recall timer was at, so went for the EQ. If I had fired at Elise, I actually might have gotten the kill. Well, 168, it's literally like just over 300, and she was pretty much at 300. It might have killed her. I don't think it would have. Would have left her really low. Maybe I made the right call. Always helps to rethink these things, because then you end up in the situation, you know, maybe 2 months later, or even a week later, and if you happen to remember that one instance, I mean, I don't know how useful that situation is going to be, where I'm firing a Q at somebody who's going B, and then someone else, or I'm firing a Q at someone who's low, and then I see someone in the fog. This Vayne was pretty quick on her feet to dodge. I used a lot of, I would charge my Q long sometimes, wait for her to tumble, and then throw it. And then sometimes I would just throw it immediately. As long as you're varying it up, I mean, it's like throwing a feint in a boxing match. You don't want to be obvious. That was hilarious. I think I was firing it at Lulu. Generally, I'd charge the Q, Lulu would shield Vayne, and then I'd try and pop Lulu. They're a little, as you get more comfortable with last hitting and harassing, you can start looking for, or playing things a little more cagey like that. Like right there, I just charged it instantly, landed a nice double shot. And I mean, you land 2 of those, and you can literally just engage and win at that point. Even right here, this is, oh, we missed the crocodile's pings. I bet you I had my ulti up. All right, the Vayne stuck her neck out. See, the Vayne did not position well here. Like, she should have been. I mean, she wasn't respecting my ultimate, essentially. I'll back that up and we'll... That's too far. That's too far. Oh, we'll watch the whole engagement again. It was a good one. Crocodile jumps on this ward, or teleports into it. And if we were paying attention, it would have been a far more productive gank. Still got something out of it, but it was only because Vayne was stupid. So, should be any second now. Yeah, there it comes. So we'll watch what Vayne did wrong here. And there isn't really anything for Vayne to even get beyond a couple farm. Like, stuck her neck right back into a very dangerous situation that she didn't have. Like, never stick around for farm. It's never worth your life. That's a mistake. I mean, I had to make that mistake 3,000 games before I finally smartened up. I mean, it's still every once in a while. You get cocky, and you end up end up making a mistake again. I wonder how dry and boring this is. I sure feel like I'm being dry and boring right now. I hope I'm not. There's not much more to... I think I've kind of drilled home the basics of what I wanted to teach here, which is essentially cues, positioning. Not so much in the lane, positioning. Okay, let's go to late game, because I'm getting bored with this. And you probably are too. So, lane went down, they took it. For me, that kind of signals, okay, I can't really sit in my lane and just free farm it anymore. I'll usually push it to kind of mid here and then start helping out with the team. Varus is the kind of person that can do that. If you're Vayne, not so much. Just keep farming, get your items, etc. But I've got the strong Q and I've got the ultimate that's really useful for initiating, especially if I'm kind of holding down this middle zone here. So you'll see for the rest of the game, I don't really go back to bottom except to catch waves and push it up a little bit. I think there's one point I chose to push up top lane to draw the team away. I don't know what they're fighting for over here. Like, there is nothing in this. I mean, Dragon's gone. We're not pushing the lane for the tower. Like, everyone's just fucking around in the jungle for really no good reason. Like, this is... Whoa. I didn't know I could do that! That's crazy! Okay, well, we're gonna... how do I get back to... This is fucking weird. That looks right. I had no idea that was possible. Okay. It's like Supreme Commander. I can rotate the whole screen. Do that in the game. Where the hell am I right now? Okay, and again, I don't know. I still don't know what Lisa and TF are kind of doing up here. Because even if I mean, getting LeBlanc is great, but if you're not getting a tower behind it, there isn't much use to it beyond a little bit of gold in your pocket that you could have got farming anyways. That's a really big problem. And low elo is going for kills instead of towers and dragon and I mean. You can almost guarantee yourself the same amount of money you would have gotten in the kill and farm, and not put yourself at risk or your team at risk. Or, like that's as ADC. I'll try and stay focused on ADC. That's all you really got to do is focus on farming, getting towers, sticking with your team, not dying, positioning properly in team fights. Those are some good core fundamentals. This Riven was wildly aggressive all game long. She kind of threw it for her team by initiating it before stages. So, try to find a point where that happens. That was a team fight we definitely want to watch. Alright, so they pressure our mid.
Purple team's turret has been destroyed.
We were overextending throughout the entirety of this game. All game long. If I remember right, played a lot of Varus the other day. Getting Dragon, that's a good thing. Other team's not there, or even in range to get it. Okay, so their fight is coming up soon. It's probably going to happen because we stuck around here too long. That gives them the opportunity because we're all low in being to push. I bet you can. This Renekton was a problem all game long. He kept getting caught in stupid spots like this. Like, what are you, jumping on a Lulu? Like, again, he's going just entirely for a kill. And he's not even sure it's one he can get. Wasn't even that low. Didn't have any sight around here. Well, actually, we did. Like, how does he do that? Anyways. I know how he does it. I used to do it. So this fight started when Lee Sin basically got caught there. That was obvious. He's trying to make plays. And Riven dove as I was coming in. So that kind of said, like, if she didn't do that, if they just kept pressuring and there was a full health Riven there, that would have been such a huge problem. But taking out Riven and LeBlanc, like, we can just run into their team now as I flash into them. This TF landed something good ults. This one wasn't the greatest, but kept them in the fight. Like, he died, but we finished off more people, so definitely worth. Especially considering we can get towers and Baron off that. I think we get this tower and inhibitor and then back off. I don't remember right. This isn't a very threatening scenario with just the two of them. Once the Blanc shows up, that's when we gotta get the hell out. And she does have a mass, like, she can pretty well close that gap to Lisa and kill him. You have to stay so far away from the Blanc to be safe. One nice thing about playing Varus with her is you land 2 Qs, and all of a sudden the Blanc doesn't want to engage anymore. So at this point we should really heal and get ready for the next engagement. Clear a couple jungle wards, regroup. But that doesn't happen. I'm pretty sure Renekton keeps wandering the jungle and farming. I think that's all he really did for the entirety of the game. Which is never good. I don't know what he was looking for there. Like, we weren't in a position where we could get into a team fight, but I'm not sure he's reading the game that way. He might just be always doing that at every point in every game. This is good, I catch LeBlanc, but a Riven being right here, like, I always opt on the side of trying to help the team, but, like, that wasn't a spot where I should have stayed back in the base. Because I really was our team in this game. Every time I died, we'd get annihilated. If I lived, we'd smash. Thank God that Vayne wasn't very good. I don't know why she's diving into this. She's watched too many videos on double it playing Vayne. Never your job to go in and kill the entire enemy team. Like, if you can pull it off, great. You're super fed, that's an amazing thing to do. But most of the time, it's a bad call to even attempt it. Unless we're super late game. Like, 28 minutes, this is encroaching on late game. Late game I call more like 35 and on. Also, Mage doesn't have the items right now. Actually, Bork and Infinity Edge, maybe I'm completely wrong. It actually looks like a good... looks like a high damage dealing combination of items. But if she positioned well in that team fight, she would have shredded her whole team and taken out towers. Which is too... If she wanted that quadra, triple... Again, don't worry about kills. As long as you're playing right, the kills will come naturally. Fast forward to the next team fight. Or should we watch the crocodile get caught again? I wonder what he's going back for. I wish I could see... Where's the gold in this fucking game? Like, there's the team gold, but how much do I see? How much everybody... I want to see how much this guy has right now. I want to see him go back to buy, like, a Doran's shield instead of joining a team to help. That's generally what I expect to see. There was a giant wave here. I told the team to wait for me while I'm grabbing it. And they did not. I remember this. And it does not work out. I pretty much just throw my ult and run. Not fast enough. Oh, I should have just thrown my ult and run. I always go back to throw in that last Q, thinking it's gonna help at some point. That was stupid. So yes, my team did initiate a 4-point, but that was still my fault. Completely. Definitely could have stayed out of range there. And like I do that because I want trying to save something in that scenario. What I should have done is just ran away, save my ultimate. But you never quite know how that might turn out. I mean, usually you do. But in that spot, I thought I might be able to save a person or two. Instead, I just got myself killed. And they probably would have got it anyway. I think they just outright Baron off that, and we don't contest it. Or am I completely wrong? Wouldn't be the first time? Could be the last time? TF laughed at himself for that ultimate. Rightly so. Bane said she shit her pants in that chat. I don't remember what happens at this point. It's probably talking in chat. I do a lot of talking once mid to late game hits. Try to make sure everyone sticks together. Pinging the map wildly. It does help. It really does. I have turned games around that we were definitely going to lose. If everyone kept doing what they were doing. They don't need that. They do. These both make out. What did I do here? Took care of super minions? Well, being right here would be very dangerous right now. Anyways, I'm glad I didn't help. So in this team fight, all I'm going to do is stay away from Riven and LeBlanc. Wait for them to overextend and drop my ultimate. Again, LeBlanc has an incredibly long range. So does Riven. They both, I mean, especially with their ultimate. If she can close the gap and land a couple of her abilities, like that's really all she needs when she's fed between that and her ult. I think the team fight kicks off around this turret in a few seconds. Yeah. So I grab Elise, and I pretty much just stay at the fringe and focus whoever's safe. Also, they're not really focusing me. I mean, they were saying at the end of the game they couldn't reach me, but no one really tried in team fights. That kind of helped. I think I died of this. But taking out LeBlanc at that stage, like, there's nothing else to do. Her being gone there. I mean, if there's someone else I could have relied on to do it, great. But TF was low on health, and he would have died just like I did. I'm making excuses, maybe. In hindsight, it might have been a better idea to just queue the bush and sit back and wait for her to try something. But it would have made a little difference. It was a defensive fight. I maybe would have got top tower out of it. At least it's back up and we rushed up there. Again, I make excuses for myself. Don't do that. Better recognize when you do. I mean, improving as an ADC is all about making tiny little changes. Until I went to the bathroom at this point. So I will be AFK for a bit. And the game ends shortly. I think there's one more team fight we might as well watch. They Baron, doesn't matter. I think we ended up catching somebody out. Yeah, we did. Their team didn't have me yelling at their Riven to stop being stupid. Because they have Baron and we just end anyways, which I think is kind of cute. The important bit here is, look, everyone's sticking together. No one's running around to farm. Like, red buff is very tantalizing right there, right? Like, a bad player would run to go get that. Or Riven goes to get wolves, which really aren't useful at this stage of the game. Like, 70 gold, take a chance for the whole team. I knew we'd get Riven there, and that's the end of the game. Yeah. I did a nice little flash ult at max range. And since it was me and I'm awesome, we'll watch it.
Hold it, partner.
So, Sight gave us Riven, or Riven's position. Initiation, which was a good idea from Renekton, and then I flash ulted to grab her right away at range, which cemented the game. If she got out of there, then it would have changed things. But with the 4-on-5, even that they have Baron, it doesn't matter. Without Riven, we don't have the hope of winning. As long as I position well and don't die. If I went down, or TF went down, it would be a little different. They managed to nuke one of us. Like, this is still a situation where we can lose the team fight. But as long as you play smart, then it's a done deal. See, I'm staying way back from everybody. Sure, I'd love to jump and auto attack LeBlanc 2 more times, kill her. That would put me in range of a lot of stun, a lot of gap closing, scary people. It's just not worth it. Like if you can't get the kill, just try and trade effectively. It's like Street Fighter. Do damage while taking them. I don't remember. I think I killed her. I do nothing.
Purple team's turret has been destroyed.
I'm not even sure what my thought process is here. I'm just trying to be careful with the ribbon. And anyways, the game ends. We take towers. Nexus explodes. Happy fun times. So, I hope that was useful and not dry and boring as fuck. If you have any comments, I'll post this on Reddit. Leave them in that section. Or maybe in the YouTube comments once I get the video posted. Until next time, keep fit and have fun. Oh my god. Yeah, we'll use that for my sign-up for now.